The Whispering Shadows. In a secluded village nestled deep within a forgotten valley, there was a house that no one dared to approach after sundown. It was not abandoned, but no one had ever seen who lived there. The house, known as Loonstar Manor, stood at the edge of a dense forest, where trees seemed to lean in as if whispering secrets to one another. The villagers told stories of eerie lights flickering in the attic windows and shadows moving across the walls, though no lanterns were ever lit, and no footsteps ever stirred the gravel path. On moonless nights, some claimed to hear the soft hum of a lullaby drifting through the air, though it was said to chill your soul rather than soothe it. One crisp autumn evening, a traveller named Ellora arrived in the village. She was a scholar of folklore, always chasing stories that blurred the line between myth and reality. When she heard of Loonstar Manor, her curiosity burned brighter than the warnings of the villagers. "Ellora," the innkeeper said, leaning close as though the walls might overhear, "there are things that should remain undisturbed. That house, it listens." But Ellora was undeterred. That night, armed with nothing but a lantern and a leather-bound journal, she ventured toward the manor. As she approached, the forest grew unnaturally silent. No rustling leaves, no chirping crickets. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. The house loomed ahead, its dark windows reflecting the starlit sky. Its air was thick, as though the house itself exhaled unease. The door, to her surprise, creaked open at her touch, as if expecting her. She hesitated but stepped inside. The air was cold, carrying the faint scent of lavender and something metallic, like iron. Her lantern cast long shadows across the grand, dust-covered furniture. The walls were lined with bookshelves, but the titles were faded and unreadable. At the center of the room was a staircase spiraling upward, its banister carved with intricate symbols Ellora couldn't decipher. She ascended slowly, each step groaning under her weight. The lullaby began as she reached the top floor, a haunting wordless tune that seemed to echo from nowhere and everywhere. In the attic, she found a single rocking chair swaying gently, though the air was still. A small music box sat on a table beside it. Intrigued, she opened it, and the lullaby ceased. Instead, a whisper filled the room, soft and chilling. "Why have you come?" it asked. Ellora froze, her breath caught in her throat. She turned, but the attic was empty. I came for the truth," she managed to say, her voice trembling. "Truth," the whisper repeated, growing louder. The rocking chair stopped. The shadows on the walls began to shift and take shape. They became figures, tall, faceless forms with elongated arms and fingers that seemed to stretch toward her. One shadow stepped forward, its voice cold as the grave. "The truth is a curse." Ellora backed away, but the shadow extended a hand, and her lantern flickered out. She was plunged into darkness. And then, silence. When dawn broke, the villagers found the manor's door ajar. Inside, there was no trace of Ellora, only her journal lying on the attic floor. Its final entry read, "They are not shadows. They are memories that have forgotten the light." The villagers sealed the house that day, never speaking of it again. But on moonless nights, the lullaby still drifts through the village, carried by the wind, and the shadows on the walls seem to move, as though waiting for someone to listen.